Happy Tuesday to everyone out there. Father Jared coming at you for the daily reflection here at the Petersburg Parishes from my room again. Today is also the anniversary of my diaconate ordination, so that's a pretty awesome thing. So yeah, and one of the funny things about diaconate is that while priesthood is the end goal, it's the one where you make the big three promises of celibacy, obedience, and prayer. And, really in many ways too, it's like the day on which you're like, well, my life is no longer in my hands. Like I have some control, but not total control over where I'll end up, what I'll be doing. And and so just that realization on that day was something that just struck me. And, and today is also the feast day of St. Catherine of Siena. And since she's the today's feast day, and it's the feast day of my diaconate, I've grown to have a little bit of love for her over the past year, 3 years now. And she was a woman of just deep, deep faith, very, very dedicated to the sufferings of Christ. But more importantly, I think just given our current context, she lived in a very difficult age in the world and in the church. She had to, live through some pretty difficult stuff. Bad clergy, bad bishops, complete and utter political upheaval all over Europe. I mean, it was just not a good time to be in the church. But, she responded to it in the way that the Lord laid out before her. And I think that's something important for each one of us to remember. I think that's one of the great lines in, if you ever watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy, in the Fellowship of the Ring, Frodo, who's bearing the Ring of Power, says, "I wish the ring had never come to me. I wish none of this happened." And, Gandalf says, "So do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. The only thing you have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to you." And I think that has been ringing in my ears over just the past, month and a half, and now even beyond, because I was deeply, deeply saddened by the extension of suspension of public masses until May 29th. And it just made my heart really sink. And then, I began to want, part of me was like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, what's the point of even bothering doing anything for the next month? And the realization came to me like that line that I cannot control that. I have no power over that. But instead, the only thing that I can do is try to give the time that has been given to me over to the Lord, to spend more time in prayer, to study perhaps a little bit more, to get up on my knowledge of, church teaching, saints, church history, administration, all that sort of stuff that you need to know as a priest. And, perhaps just take time to try and put first things first, which is mostly our Lord. And so perhaps that's something that each and every one of us are invited to do during this time, that, to not so much worry about living in difficult times, but instead only worry about doing the most important thing with the time that has been given to each of us.